All right, let's jump right in. Today we've got a bit of a different kind of story for you. We're not starting with some massive national report or a complex global data set. Nope. Our journey today begins with a simple piece of paper that showed up in the mail. And believe me, it holds a really powerful lesson in economics and governance. So this is it. It's called The Village Voice, and it's the official newsletter from a tiny American village. I know. It doesn't look like much, right? But the level of detail and just the raw transparency inside is exactly what kicked off this entire explainer. It's a fantastic case study in how local government can, and maybe should, work. So to set the scene for you, we're talking about a place called Machesney Park in Illinois. The population is only about 22,000 people, and that's a really important detail, because the kind of clarity they provide about their finances, well, it's something you'd hope to see from a major city, not necessarily a small village like this.
Okay, so let's get into the heart of it all, the budget. How does a town of this size actually handle its money? And, maybe more importantly, how does it tell its own residents what's going on?
Here's the headline number, right there in the newsletter. For the next fiscal year, the village is expecting to bring in about $10.2 million in revenue. That single number basically sets the stage for everything else they're planning to do.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this breakdown. Almost half, 47% of the village's entire income comes from sales tax. This means the town's financial health is directly, and I mean directly tied to how well the local businesses are doing. The more people shop and eat locally, the more money the village has for services. It's that simple.
And check this out. This shows some serious fiscal discipline. They're expecting to bring in $10.2 million, but they're only planning to spend $9.3 million. So they're not just running a balanced budget, they're actually building a surplus, putting money away for a rainy day. That's just smart planning right there at the village level.
And here's the real kicker, something they're clearly proud of. Machesney Park is one of the very few towns in its state that operates without its own property tax. This makes the reliance on that sales and state income tax we just saw even more critical to how their whole system works. It's pretty unique.
And they're not just thinking about next year either. The newsletter lays out this super clear long-term plan for a major infrastructure project, securing their water supply. This timeline tells every single resident what's happening and when, all the way out to 2029. This is exactly what transparent, forward-thinking planning looks like.
Okay, so let's pull back for a second and look at the bigger picture here. What's happening in Machesney Park isn't just a happy accident. It's the result of a very specific system of what we call decentralized governance. Let's map out what that actually means.
So in the United States, you've got this layered system, kind of like a set of nesting dolls. You have the village, Machesney Park, which is inside Winnebago County. That county is inside the state of Illinois. And of course, Illinois is one of the states that makes up the USA. Each of these layers has its own set of responsibilities.
And these boundaries, they're not just lines on a map. They have huge, real-world consequences. We're talking about what laws apply to you, what taxes you pay, who you vote for, and even who shows up when you call for an ambulance. They are the absolute bedrock of local governance. Now, that structure I just described, it might sound kind of familiar to a lot of you. So let's pivot and make a direct comparison with another one of the world's great democracies, India, because this is where the real difference starts to show.
I mean, just look at this. On paper, the structures are almost mirror images of each other. Both countries have these layers of government, starting from the local town or village, moving up to a district or county, then to the state, and finally up to the national level. Structurally, they are incredibly similar.
But, and this is a big but, the focus is completely different. In India, when the national budget is announced, it is a massive, massive media event. It dominates the news cycle for days. Everyone is talking about these huge national figures, like the total spending of over 50 lakh crore rupees. We're talking hundreds of billions of US dollars.
And this quote right here just nails the difference. All the attention is on that one big national number, but you hardly ever see the same level of focus on the state budgets. And as for the budgets of cities, small towns, or villages, it's basically crickets. The key difference here isn't the structure, it's the attention, it's the focus.
So why are we even talking about this? What's the big deal? Why does it matter if people know the details of their little village's budget?
Well, the benefits they're huge. When a local government is this open about its finances, it makes local officials directly accountable to the people they serve. It encourages regular citizens to get involved because they can literally see where their money is going. That builds trust. It makes people feel a sense of ownership over their town. And you know what? It might even make more people willing to pay their taxes because they see the direct benefit in their own community.
Let's just go back to that newsletter for one last perfect example of this. It doesn't just throw numbers at you. It gives you a map of your specific district in the village and then gives you the name and contact info for your elected official. That's a direct line from information to accountability. It's empowering.
And that really brings us to the final crucial takeaway. It's a question for every single one of us, no matter where in the world we live. How well do you actually know your local budget? How well do you know what's happening in your own backyard? And just imagine, what could change if you did?